Hello everyone, welcome back. Thank you for joining me again this week. And if you can hear any noise in the background, we have some neighbours trying to get some work done. It's been very rainy here and I think everyone's trying to dodge the rain, and as soon as the sun comes out everyone's trying to get their work done, which brings me on to the subject of we've decided that we're going to dismantle our garage, which is over here. I'll just turn you around. And that looks a bit of an eyesore, so that's coming down at the weekend, and hopefully things will start moving a bit better with the garden. We can sort of design the lawn area and the flower bed area, so hopefully, fingers crossed, things are starting to move. So what I'd like to do this week, I want to split the video into two halves. The first half I want to talk to you about my flowers and my spring bulbs that have come up this year and how they're looking, and the second half I want to talk to you about probably 5 different annuals that I want to have in my garden this year. And please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future videos. And the first one is this lovely daffodil. It's called Pink Charm. It's quite a tall daffodil. It's 45 centimetres tall. And out of all the daffodil and tulips that I'm showing you today, this one doesn't resemble the picture of the bulbs when I first bought them and planted them. It doesn't resemble the picture at all, but it's a very attractive flower. It's got a lovely apricot centre and very, very pale apricot petals. And I do find that daffodils, when I do look at them, remind me so much of a little cup and saucer, but nevertheless it's a very attractive daffodil and I'm really pleased with it. And this lovely one here is called Sir Winston Churchill. It's another tall daffodil. It's approximately 35 centimetres tall. It's got a lovely little ruffled centre with a little flash of yellow in the middle, and it sort of opens out into a little star-shaped pattern on the petals. Very, very delicate, very pale white petals on the outside. Very attractive. And this lovely little pink tulip, it's made its way into this this pot here with the daffodils. It's one of a pink variety, and I'm not sure the name of it, that I've had in the pots last year, and I don't usually like to keep them till the following year because I find they don't grow as nice. And this, when I originally bought it, was a much taller tulip, but I do like to buy new every year, and that way you can always buy new varieties. But obviously nature always finds a way, and this one has decided to grow. And this lovely little variety is called Minnow, and out of all my daffodil and tulip bulbs, this has been the star of the show this year. It's absolutely beautiful. Small clusters of probably 3 flowers in a cluster, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And I've got it here in this small pot, but it would look lovely in a mixed pot if you wanted tall and short variety daffodils. And as you can see, each cluster of flowers, the centre is a darker coloured yellow and the outer petals are more of a buttery coloured yellow. But I'd highly recommend this, and I would have it in my garden every year. It's that attractive. And this variety is called Trisamble. It's a multi-headed, strong-stemmed daffodil that's about 30 centimetres tall. Each stem has 2 flowers on it, very pale in colour. It's very effective that the flower heads nod downwards. I sometimes wish they would face upwards because they are a really attractive flower and you can't always see it when their heads are nodding downwards, but very effective. And this absolutely stunning variety is called Jimmy. I do love these dual toned tulips. They're very attractive. It's got a lovely burnt orange type of look. There's even tones of pink in the petals there and a very lighter coloured orange on the tips. And this stunningly elegant tulip is called Akebono. It's another large tall tulip, approximately 45 centimetres tall. When the flowers first open, they're more of a yellowy colour with slight orange tinges inside on the edges of the petals. And as the flowers mature, they develop a more orange tinge inside. Very attractive blooms, very peony-like with all the petals that they've got. And if that isn't enough, on the underside of the flowers, the petals have a green streaks there. Highly recommended, very attractive flower. And last but not least is this beautiful daffodil here. Not sure of the variety, So many buds though waiting to open, and it's got multi-petals to the flower. Lots of petals in fact. Very attractive, different shades of yellow there, but very nice nonetheless. I just wish I knew the name of the variety. And as we just move away from the daffodil, I just wanted to mention about the Skimmia rubella that's in full bloom now, and it's just adding to the look next to all the other flowers here. It's so beautiful. Another lovely plant that's doing well in the garden here and has bloomed early is the bleeding heart. I've got the same variety in the garden. I've got this in the borders, and I've also got it in a pot this year as well. So I'm trying that out, but it's looking stunning with all the lovely flowers hanging from the stems there. So now we've moved inside the house, I want to talk about the second part of the video about 5 different annual plants I like to have in my garden in the summer. And I only want to touch on this because we are still in the spring part of the year, and I don't want it to feel like we're moving too quickly or too far ahead. But obviously we have to think about these things, and these are my 5 favourite plants that I like to have in my garden in the summer. And let's start off with Calibrachoa. My particular favourite is the chameleon varieties, and you never really get 2 flowers the same. The colours seem to merge into one another, and they're really pretty. Plant them in full sun or light shade in good, well-drained soil. They're ideal for pots and containers. I would say towards the end of the year, I tend to give them a little bit of a trim. If they start to look a little bit scraggly, it tends to make it look a little bit more attractive, and it just encourages a few more flowers. In the UK, I would say we treat it more as an annual, although you can have it as a perennial, but you've got to overwinter it. So in the UK, I feel that we use it here more as an annual than a perennial. Now this next one is called Cosmos. I've grown it in different shades of pink, white, and my particular favourite is yellow. And I think in fact if I went to a garden centre and they had all the colours there, I would automatically go for the yellow one because I don't often see it. So I do particularly like the yellow one. If you grow it in full sun, well-drained soil, water regularly, you can't go wrong, but don't feed this one, and it will attract the pollinators. And the next one is Lobularia. You need to plant this in full sun with moderately fertile, well-drained soil. And after the first flush of blooms, if you give it a clip over, it will encourage new blooms. And this comes in shades of pink, purple and white. And I think for value for money, you can't beat this one. The amount of blooms this plant produces, tiny little blooms. They do tend to drop their little petals, which I think it looks really attractive. But I think for value for money, this is worth every penny. And this one will also look good in a pot on its own. Just a small pot, put one little plant in and it will spread. It's not invasive, it won't take over if you put it in a pot with other plants. You don't need many in a larger pot because it does get quite big. I have had 3 in a pot at one point, and it was too much. I think for me, either 1 or 2 plants in a larger pot's enough, and then you could add in other plants, but a very nice little flower. And another favourite of mine is the snapdragon, and you need to plant this in full sun with well-drained soil and feed every couple of weeks. And it comes in shades of salmon, white, pink, red and yellow. And my particular favourite is the salmon, and I would pick that colour every time. And last but not least is the pom-pom marigold, and this one needs to be planted in a sunny, fertile, well-drained soil, ideal for path edges, garden borders and containers. And the first time I had this one in the garden, I had the yellow variety. Last year I did have the orange one in the garden, but my particular favourite out of the 2 was the yellow one. And I was really surprised how lovely this plant is. It has large pom-pom shaped flowers, and if you deadhead it, another one will grow, and it just keeps on and on and on all summer long. And that is it for this week's video. Hope you've enjoyed it. Have a lovely week. See you in the next video. Goodbye.